Just checking to make sure I'm up and going here. How's everybody doing out there? I guess I'm up. Says nobody's watching yet, but we'll see here. Good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you're at. Okay, sounds good. 50 watching so far. Just want to give time for the trolls to show up and everything else, you know. 11 o'clock in the morning a.m. Eastern Standard Time might be a little bit early for some of the trolls. So, you know, I'll have to give them some time. So they don't like sunlight. Yeah, really. Okay. Going to be watching the video today and going through it. We've gotten some really wild attacks over the years, and these people actually do us a favor because it's just so wild. I mean, there are guys that come out with things and they go through the scriptures and whatever, but some of this stuff, this one's a classic, and I just thought, okay, I want to play this. So we'll go ahead and get started here on this thing. Do this one here. Share screen. I'll do that one. Okay. Here's my video that I did. Hopefully this can be seen. All right, I'm gonna play a little bit, and just let me know if you can hear the audio. Okay. See if you can hear the audio here. Okay, can anybody hear that audio that I was playing? Okay, I can't hear it. Okay, I guess I have to. All right, I'll try it without my headphones on. See if that works. Okay, let's try it. Try it one more time here.
If you're doing this and you're not repenting, and there's no chastening in your life, then you're probably not saved. You ever heard me say stuff like that? Oh, Denlinger's all about works. He's backloading works salvation. He's a lordship salvationist. He's a...
Okay. All right. Okay. Good. Thank you. This isn't the video I'm refuting. Okay. I don't really refute myself. So we'll get rid of that one there. Just wanted to make sure I do get the audio correct. So good. I always forget myself with these live stream things if you should have the headphones on or take them off or whatever if you're playing a video. So, all right. I'm going to just say this. Here is a thing. Brother Matthew Landau sent this to me. I wasn't sure about the abortion statistics, and I said I heard 50 million years ago. No idea what it's up to right now. He sent me this, and this is just mind-boggling. Let me zoom in on this a little bit here. Yeah. Okay, total number of abortions in the U.S. from 1973 to 2018, 61.8 million. So 2 years after that, it would be, you know, however many million. 186 abortions per 1,000 live births, according to the Center for Disease Control. U.S. abortions in 2017, 862,320. Abortions per day, 2,362. Per hour, 98 abortions per hour. One abortion every 96 seconds. 13.5 abortions, 1,000 women aged 15 per 1,000 women aged 15 to 44 in 2017. But here's where it gets really interesting. These statistics include only surgical and medical abortions because many contraceptive measures are abortifactants. All right. Well, in other words, abortifactants they actually cause an abortion. When the things happen there after intimacy. The birth control pill is actually designed to kill the baby before it even starts to become a child, before it's even formed. So when you're taking birth control, you're effectively creating abortion after abortion after abortion. That's a problem. Drugs that induce or cause abortions. It is important not to overlook the number of children killed by chemical abortions. Since 1965, an average of 11 million women have used abortifacient methods of birth control in the United States at any given time, using formulas based on the way the birth control pill works. And they are very toxic, by the way. We could do a whole video on the toxicity of those things. Very bad for a woman's health. Pharmacy experts project that about 14 million chemical abortions occur in the United States each year, providing a projected total of well in excess of 610 million chemical abortions between 1965 and 2009. So, yeah, pretty bad. So just to bring that statistic in there, you're looking at 610 million here, 61.8 million up there. It's probably pushing 700 million abortions that have happened in this country. 700 million little babies that have been slaughtered. God's not going to put up with that much longer. So it's disgusting. When you first get saved, you think about the thing of hell and people burning forever, and you just kind of think, wow, that seems kind of extreme. But then when you actually start to study what people are doing and the evil of this world, and what the Catholics are doing to little children, and abortion, and what they call human trafficking, all this different stuff, and child molestation, and then you start to realize, no, God is actually very just in sending people to burn forever. These people that are wicked. Sickening. So on to the video here. This Bryan Denlinger, the money grubber. Okay. October 30th, 2020. So this is just a few days ago. The Shepherd's Ambassador. All right. The guy sounds like he's a little drunk or something in the video, but I guess I shouldn't judge that, because being drunk, I guess, is fine. It's a good, testimony of being a good Christian or something. But just to show you the kind of pathetic things people have to say about me and the lies that come out, and as an encouragement to you, to younger brethren, again, that's why another reason I'm going to do this video is to encourage younger brethren. When you get people lying about you and you think, wow, I can't believe they just said that. That's not even true. You'll see. Watch this. 49 views, so I'm going to be number 50, I guess, here. So congratulations to this guy. Yeah, this will be, you'll see.
Hey guys, Bryan Denlinger, the money grubber. Now this is his GoFundMe account. This is not the only time they raised money. It probably was up to $40,000, I think, but it's down to 32.
Okay, proof. It was up to 40,000, but it's down to 32. Okay. That's lie number one. It was never up to 40,000. Okay, it stopped right there. I'll show you the proof here in just a couple minutes. And I'm going to do this again. And hey, these people, this circle of these bitter former viewers of mine, issue some apologies here, because you've openly, this guy here, this drunken guy is openly lying about me. So Continue.
And you see in the picture, one of the things he bought was that ambulance building. That's one of the things he bought to carry his books and stuff.
Bought the ambulance behind him to carry his books and stuff. No, I bought a ambulance because it was the cheapest way. My wife still had things out at her parents' place in Iowa, and we had to go out and get them. So to rent a U-Haul would have been fairly expensive, and how would we have driven out or flown out or whatever else? And so we decided instead of a mobile home, we would get an old ambulance and fix it up, which we did. And we bought that a few years ago. Okay, I think it was 2018, early 2018. I think it was maybe late 2017, early 2018, in that area there. Paid a couple $1,000s for it. It was not very expensive. Okay, it's a 1999 older ambulance. All right, drove it across the country, did 4,000-mile trip, came back, saved money on motels expenses, you know, things like that. It's been used as a work vehicle. I might have mentioned that I'm going to be using it to haul books from our property to the new office here, which I did because the thing can handle a lot of weight. But you know, again, they bought it to haul his books around and stuff. Haul my books around? Why would I haul books around on the road? Okay, so let's continue.
He had like 2 properties, or at least more than 2, a whole bunch of acres.
Okay, 2 properties, at least more than 2. Yeah, because over the course of 6 years, people, you know, tend to move once in a while, you know. I mean, we came here in 2013 to buy property and bought property, and that was actually 7 years ago. And things change in 7 years. Okay. And when we buy properties, they're very cheap. Our entire net worth is less than $100,000. Okay. We don't have much money. I mean, you compare me to any other 45-year-old preacher out there, you're going to see that we live at a poverty level compared to what most people do. Why? Well, because I want to show people you don't have to get into all kinds of debt. You can live debt free. Here's how to save money. But for me to preach those things, I have to do them myself first. I can't be a hypocrite with those things. That's why we live this way. So, yeah.
Probably 60 at least. Some people say 168, somewhere around that neighborhood. 168 to whatever. And
okay, talking about the land that we own, I don't own 168 acres. Okay, I don't know where you're getting your information from, or somewhere around that, or maybe more than that, or you know, real exacting, real precise here, this guy. And the amount of land and where I live and what food I eat and whatever, that's not anybody's business. Okay, I put out video, right? Unlike a lot of the guys out there who came before me, I don't just make video after video after, you know, DVDs and just sell them all, and then, you know, go after people with copyright stuff if you try to copy them. I've spent years bringing out preaching for free. If you don't like it, don't watch. I've always said that. It's easy, you know. I don't like this guy. I can't stand him. Go away, you know. Don't watch. You go to the store, you buy something that you don't like. You don't keep going back to the store, buying the same product and complaining to the store for selling the product. That's insanity. Well, I guess when you're partly drunk, I guess when you're making the video, well, anything makes sense. But you know, because see, new people come along and they might hear some of these things and they'll say, I don't hear Bryan talking about this. Well, you know, you have to go back through the years. You know, I've been on YouTube since 2008. Some of my older videos I deleted because it started out as a logging channel, if you didn't know that, just to bring new viewers up to speed with this. And the Lord convicted me. I started putting out preaching and teaching videos in 2009, then into 2010. I got more active in it and things. Got married in 2012 and met my wife late 2011. And then we've been going from there. So there's a lot of things. So, you know, these guys, what this weirdo guy does, he takes events from years ago, many years ago, and he says he makes it look like I'm doing it all right now, just to prove how corrupt I am. I mean, how many people live at the same property for 7 years, just or their whole life? Well, some people do, and okay, fine, that's a great situation. But in 7 years, don't tell me a lot of people don't move multiple times. That's all that's going on here. But we'll continue.
He has to like ride a four-wheeler on to scout his properties.
I have to ride a four-wheeler around to scout all my vast lands, apparently. Oh boy. Okay. Again, just to explain things. I don't have to tell all this stuff, but I like to, I'm honest. I tell people about things. When we lived at Bridgewater, the house that you're seeing behind me there in that little thing there, when we lived there, I had a property in the town of Littleton, Maine. Okay. It was going to be an off-grid property. It's the first property that we bought when we came to Maine. All right. I paid $18,000 for the property, $16,000 for the house. Pretty cheap. I don't think you're going to get many preachers that buy those kind of cheap, lands. I didn't want to live in town. I didn't want to raise, I didn't have a son at the time, but I didn't want to live in town. Okay. Well, Oliver was in the womb, but we didn't really know it because it was early on in her time of being with child. And so we bought this land. We're going to build on it, but there was a right of way going back to it. Turned out our neighbor was a drunken Roman Catholic. It was his responsibility to keep the right of way open, and he always blocked it. So I always was being blocked from getting back into my land. It was a half-mile off of the main road back to where my property started. The only way I get back in there, because there was a river, and you'll see it in the older videos. It's the lake-looking river thing behind me in some of my older videos that I did back in the 2015, 2016, up and through there. And the only way to get back in there was a bridge. It wasn't even really a good bridge. It was just culverts with dirt over top of it. And the beavers were always, clogging these culverts, and they'd blow out part of the dirt area, and then you couldn't drive back through. And it was just a nightmare. So finally, I just said, forget it. I'm just going to get a four-wheeler. And so I had a four-wheeler, and I still have it, but we bought a used one, an older one. It was a 2006 Kawasaki Brute Force. Just being honest here. Bought the four-wheeler, and we could get actually from our house in Bridgewater that you see in the video there down to our property in Littleton. So I would ride on the ATV trails, and we could go back and forth, which saved us money and, a lot of things there too. And then I was going back in, driving supplies back in to our property so I could start to build. And I built 3 different structures back there over the couple years that we had it. And I was building a 4th, which would have been our home. And it would have been a 24-foot by 24-foot cabin near a spring that we had back at the property there. And at that time, our neighbor died, and he put the place up for auction. And right before he died, he put a trailer on our right of way and really messed it up. I had to go see a lawyer about the whole thing. It was a terrible situation to go through. I mean, my son, he took some of his first steps back there on that property. There was a lot of things that we really loved about that place, but it was just going to be clear, when the transaction happens, that new people come in and buy this property, there's going to be things that's going to be almost grandfathered in, that, this new trailer on our right of way. And if it's a bad person that buys it, there's not going to be anything legally that I can do about it. And I can't take people to court because the guy that did it, when he is dead. It was terrible. So we ended up selling the property, bought another piece of land with the money that we made. I made a profit on the property, obviously, because I built, 3.5 buildings on it. Tore down the one, so technically it was 2.5. But so I built buildings on it, and of course properties appreciate in value over time. So I made some money on it. And we took that money and bought another property. Okay. And you'll hear some things later on, but just to tell the story, I don't mind telling the story. I'm very honest about things. I'm not trying to hide all kinds of secret stuff that we're doing. But see, these people aren't honest. They'll just lie about me and whatever else. So, and and we do have privacy. Okay, so there is that. I'm not going to just say, hey, where we live, just here and just tell everything about it. There's sick people out there. So
That's not the only thing you bought, you know. You raised it up for his new ministry headquarters. Well, here's one of his ministry headquarters.
Well, the day has finally arrived that we're going to make the announcement about the new ministry office and new ministry address.
It was a trailer. It was a trailer that he bought.
Store right here is the top secret new ministry office. Real it off my mind to finally have all of our books back on the. To get back to deeper research now.
Okay, this guy gives me a headache. Buddy, whatever your name is here, put the bottle down first of all, and fast food probably is more than likely. And you're having some attention span problems. You're clicking through a video, and what does this prove other than the fact that you have some problems? But, please get saved, get born again. The Holy Spirit can straighten it out. Process of sanctification. You can actually have a real life. Again, I still have this trailer. Okay, what is this trailer? I'll show you here in just a minute.
Praise the Lord. And we finally have is the exciting part. Door for you.
Okay, now you say, oh, look how exclusive, how luxurious. It's almost like what Kenneth Copeland would have, or something. You know what it is? Okay, it's a 53-foot reefer trailer, old reefer trailer that I bought from a potato farmer in the area. He gave me a good deal on it because I didn't need the refrigerator unit that goes in the front there where those windows are. This area right in here, you can see I put in some old windows from a shed. Not even, double, triple pane windows, whatever else, just single pane shed windows I stuck in the front of this where the reefer unit would have been, the refrigerator unit would have been. There's dents in the walls right there. The walls are wavy because it had a leak in the roof. And when I bought it, it still had a leaky roof. And I had to climb up on top of the thing and fix the roof on it, which I'm sure all my enemies, they do that kind of thing too. They're hard workers. I don't know how to work, but they do. Okay. We try to do things as cheaply as we can so we can advise other people. I see this stuff and I think, you people don't even know me. My goodness. But this is the best that they can come up with. It's really kind of sad. But yeah, it's what it is. It's used to haul potatoes. And I put a plywood floor down, and I put linoleum. I laid linoleum, which I got used scraps and things from a Martin's store here in northern Maine. I guess no expense was spared. Yeah, there's a lot of other guys out there, big false preachers, apparently, like I'm a false preacher, that they put offices in reefer trailers too. Yeah. Continue.
Here we have, walk back into that corner there, sending my wife to the corner. She was bad. Here you are looking at, we're actually edited. That's what it is. That's what we're going to have.
The guy can't even stand to watch, let the video play or whatever, where I would have explained things and,
It's actually not even. I actually got many years ago at Kmart. The way to find us.
Oh, I didn't know about this.
So solar power, you know,
Solar power, bottom solar power,
800 horsepower,
canoes.
solar system.
Again, solar power, canoes. No, if you actually watched it, I said that they are kayaks bought from Kmart. All right. I mean, please get your research, get your facts straight. They were $150 a piece, and I bought them 6 years ago. We first came to Maine. One of our trips, we came up, and we were staying. We didn't have any place to stay, so we stayed. The realtor at the time said, "Hey, go stay at there's a lodge down near the Drews Lake," and he said, "Go on down there. I know the guy well. I'll call him up and say, hey, you know, are your cabins? Do you have some cabins available?" And the guy said, "Yeah, sure." So we went down. We stayed at this lake. It was really neat. And I said, "Hey, you know what? We're here for a few days. Why don't we we were at Kmart, and we said, let's just get these kayaks and go out kayaking." My wife had never been kayaking before, but I guess I'm sinful for doing that. Spending $300 so my wife and I could have a neat evening. And we've taken them things out many times. We were out. I did a sermon this year in one of those kayaks. But I guess that's wrong and sinful, and I'm just blowing money around and whatever else, you know. Yeah, can't even get it straight. And that solar power there I'm still using, by the way. And I should add this, because this guy here doesn't know this, and of course he wouldn't. That system that I had set up in that old reefer trailer, it didn't work, because as the sun went down, when I originally built it where the solar panels were at, as it got sunlight all throughout the day, but then as it goes to winter, the sun kind of goes down further, and then the front of the reefer trailer blocked the solar panels. So I had to redo my solar system to get more power, and then my computer wasn't working anymore to do video editing. So that's what happened there. I still use the trailer for holding books and things, but ironically, the kayaks are actually inside the reefer trailer now, because we were getting mice living in the kayaks, and that's not much fun when you go to take out your kayaks and mice come running out. Don't really want to take mice out on the lake, you know. But so, you know, people just ask me questions. People could ask me questions. I've given the offer, and I'll give it again to any of my enemies out there. If you have some kind of an issue with me, write me a letter. Just write me a letter and say, could you please address this? I believe you're wrong in this area, or whatever else. But I guess it's better to have a troll channel where you just continually waste all your time, watching my videos, just sitting there, getting drunk or eating fast food or whatever else. And, I rip on the thing of eating fast food because I used to be a fast food junkie myself, and it led to very poor health. And now I'm out of that phase of my life, and I know the good health, and I'm trying to wake people up because I care about people. So let's continue.
What else? Ministry headquarters.
What else?
Let's see if I can find it.
We have a ongoing joke with our son Oliver. We'll talk about cell phone zombies, because you see these people walking down the street and they're just going, they're walking, not even looking where they're going. There's there's one in action here. Just go down through all the videos against Bryan Denlinger and of course Bryan's videos as well. Sad, really sad.
Wonder if this is the same exact thing, just unfinished. I don't know, but this is somewhere that you ministry headquarters.
No, that's actually our tiny house, which I'm sure that all my enemies out there would live in a tiny house, to save money and things. Of course, sure.
I don't know. It's one of the finished ones that you had. I don't know if it was the trailer or not, but one of headquarters that he has, and he starts with that. Oh, there's the.
All right.
I'm glad that I found it.
This is the last of my 3 studies here.
This is his bus that he was
It's a bit chilly out there. Yeah.
trying to convert into a ministry headquarters.
This is his bus that he's trying to convert into his ministry headquarters. Can you prove that again? Where did I ever say it's a ministry headquarters? It's not a ministry headquarters. Again, in an effort to try and save money, to try and teach people how to live debt-free, how to live cheap. If you're drowning in debt, here's how you can get away from that whole system. Here's how you can live a cheap life. We bought a old school bus, okay? I'll even shock you. We bought 2 old school buses. When we first bought our property in 2017, I bought a school bus that was not running from a garage, Westerdalls in Littleton, Maine, to be very specific. Not far from where our first property was that we bought when we first came to Maine. And I bought an old school bus retired from the local school district here for $2,000. Okay. The guy that owned the garage had to use his wrecker, a big tow truck looking thing, and he pulled the school bus the whole way down to our property, backed it in onto our land, and then we use it for storage. Okay. I know it's extravagant. You know, I'm sure Kenneth Copeland has school buses on his property, you know, and Benny Hinn and all the other big charismatic, you know, prosperity gospel guys. I'm sure they have school buses littering their properties because, you know, that's what we prosperity preachers do to show our wealth, you know, old school buses. And so then this one, I went back to the same garage. He had another one. And I said, I was thinking about this idea, which I'll tell you here in a minute, which is I think it was in the off-grid channel that I had for a little bit of time. But I went back and he had this one. It ran, and I actually drove it down myself from Littleton down to where our land is, and about an hour, 15 minutes driving this old school bus. Oliver's sitting in the thing, and he was having the time of his life, you know. But anyways, we drove it down in the winter, and ended up, you know, I backed it into place and whatever else. Went in, took out all the seats. I did it on both buses. It was a terrible job because they rust so bad up here because of the stuff they put on the roads. The bolts don't come off the seats, so you got to grind the heads of the bolts off. And oh man, but it's a lot of work. In other words, gutted the whole bus out. You know, took apart the wiring, drained the tank, did all kinds of work on the bus. And then I built shelving, you can see right behind me there, and that little metal thing just in the corner. I don't know if it was mounted there or not, but it's a grain/nut mill. You can make your own peanut butter by hand. We make our own peanut butter. We do a lot of things for ourselves. That's why I'm very busy, and I a lot of times don't have time to get back to people right away because we have a lot going. But we've created it as a summer kitchen. It has a wood cook stove in it. We cook throughout the summer months in our old school bus. It's not a ministry office. Okay. Not what it's for. So, but these guys on YouTube, man, they know everything. They just know it all about me. It's incredible. Like I said, I mean, this stuff's entertainment for me. It's great. I was showing my wife some of this, and she's just cracking up, and she just said, "What a weirdo," you know.
So he bought a bus, ambulance,
2 buses.
trailer. They converted. And there's his bus. Said, "Oh, it's just an old bus." No, it's where he was trying to find a new headquarters. So there's the bus. Glad I found that one.
Yeah.
And he preaches about not having a church building, but has a ministry office.
Well, it is. Why? Because
If you have a church building, it's satanic and wicked. You're lost. You're a Jesuit. No,
When did I say that? When did I say that? Just lied again. These guys seem to have a thing for lying. They're the ones that are genuinely saved. I'm lost, but they just lie. You know, you're a Jesuit if you have a church building. You're satanic. You're lost. When did I ever say that? I've never said that, ever. If you're defending church buildings after going there, you know, if I would condemn people that had church buildings, I'd be condemning myself. I used to be a fanatic for church buildings when I was saved early on, before the Lord really showed me the truth. I've never said that people that have ever gone to a church building are lost or Jesuits or, you know, whatever. I never said that. People that defend them after knowing the truth and hearing the truth and refusing to repent, yeah, I have to question their salvation. I say, I don't understand why they're defending this after they know the truth. After they know the truth. Okay? You know, maybe you can play that back if you're one of these devils that stalks this ministry, and play it and, you know, real slow so you can get it, you know.
anything else. Anyways, that might be the same place. Yeah, that's the same place. Never mind. Let's see. Instead of being happy with that trailer that he converted and all finished up, you know, that trailer, I think he, if I remember correctly, he finished that all up and everything and finally got it done. That's what you see in the last one. Now he has a house too, another house.
he's very happy to be with open arms. The donations that have made this possible.
The donations made, you bought him a house, another house that you did not need to make a whole house to make into a
Whole house make into a thing is, oh man, oh my goodness, buddy, get some help, okay? You got some major issues. It's an international ministry. Where do we run an international ministry from? You know, crazy. I mean, you know, okay, this is not a church building. Well, thankfully. But you know, how do I run an international ministry? We contact people. We have people, you know, like I've shown, just, you know, right here. I mean, this right here, these are letters we've gotten in the last month and more all the time. You know, hopefully you can see that. Looking over here on my screen here. You know, we are in contact with thousands of people, but I'm just supposed to not have anything, I guess, you know, if I was really a legitimate, you know, minister, I guess I'd have to live in a hole in the ground, or, you know, if I had a mortgaged house and a mortgaged church building, then I'd be real, I guess. Let's continue.
headquarters.
What happens in the future, possible street?
I wish I had a house of my own.
Well, maybe you would if you weren't such a loser on YouTube, just, you know, stalking a guy like myself. Maybe if you actually became a man and got out of the house occasionally, you know, not went for beer and fast food, maybe you ought to just get out and, you know, try to do something with your life.
Maybe you should give it to me.
Oh, yeah, look, maybe if you give it to me. Well, why would I want a drunk in my house? No, I don't think so. Work, you know, work.
Because I'm poor. I really am.
Yeah, really am.
Let's see.
Here's a classic one too. Watch this.
What else did you buy them? A new Jeep?
A new Jeep. Oh my goodness. A new Jeep. we bought a 19-year-old Jeep Cherokee. They don't even make them anymore. The XJs. Okay, the newer one's a new, classification. Whatever. It's an old Jeep, 19-year-old vehicle, new Jeep, 90+ thousand miles on it, and that's new. Wow, really, brand new, yes, sir. 19-year-old, brand new Jeep.
$6,000 Jeep.
Jeep that we got arrived.
Better than mine. And he complains about like, well, this has dings and stuff. Yeah, that's a rusted out car, you know.
Uh, oh, buddy, it's a truck. The one that you're showing there, it's a truck. Okay, Chevy Silverado, it's a truck. Rusted out car. Oh man, put the bottle down, okay? Or and you say a bottle of alcohol. Well, bottle of alcohol, bottle of pharmaceutical pills, whatever you're on, no, thank you. I don't want any. You know, just, but just laugh at this stuff, okay? It's just ridiculous. Don't be offended by this. By the way, you see people like this attacking me. I laugh at this stuff, okay? It doesn't bother me. I mean, I know when I get attacked. I've been attacked really bad different times, and had some pretty high, powerful people attack me. I mean, we've gotten letters from the Vatican. Okay, I do mean people working at the Vatican too. I'm not joking. Uh, this stuff, don't let it bother you. Let's continue.
So what?
So what?
You see in the background? That's his vehicle that he runs. That Jeep.
The Jeep. It's a Chevy Tracker. The little white thing there. It's a Chevy Tracker. 2003, I think. 2004 Chevy Tracker. It's got 160,000 miles on it. The transmission's going out. It didn't pass inspection this year, and my truck didn't pass inspection this year. So I lost 2 vehicles this year as a result of the bad rust on the roads up here, or the bad rust, yeah. The stuff that they put on the roads up here to melt the snow. 6 months out of the year, we're getting, our vehicles destroyed. So yeah, I lost 2 vehicles this year. They're no longer inspectable. They still run somewhat, but yeah, just again to let you support this ministry. You can see where the money is going here. Okay, I don't buy new vehicles. I mean, right now, my 2 old vehicles that I have, my truck, I'm going to try to get it through this winter as a plow truck. It has a plow bracket thing on the front. It's not even a real great plow. I put it on myself, but it's a push plow type of a thing. I'm going to try to get it through this winter and plow as much as I can. We'll see if it makes it through the winter. It actually, the motor's pretty good, but the thing is just falling apart. I mean, the rust is just terrible on the truck. The Chevy Tracker, when it starts to get cold, the transmission fluid gets a little bit, heavier, a little thicker, and it'll, I'll go to drive it, and it'll just all of a sudden it'll slip out of gear, and then it'll go back into gear again, and it's not real good. So probably it's going to let us sit sometime, but we drive it as much as we can, just around our property and things. It's no longer inspected. So, but I buy a Jeep, a 19-year-old Jeep, and I'm just being frivolous with the Lord's money. And there isn't a level of accountability that I have to the body of Christ. That's why I'm open and honest about this stuff. My private property where I live, yeah, I don't want to talk about that. It's private. I don't want people, coming and taking pictures or just walking onto my land or whatever else. No, it's a private place. Okay. But yeah, I'll be honest about some of this stuff, but good night. Here we go. Continue.
Still runs that. So why can't you use that?
Yeah, and just look at the Look at this. You know, his searches. I mean, right there again, this foul thing that people use with my last name. These are saved people, and they'll turn Denlinger into this down here. They're saved, you know. And Anderson's cult does this. A lot of these people, Robert Breaker's cult does this too. They'll make, you know, filthy things about my last name. But these are saved people, you know. But just look at the searches. Bryan Denlinger, Bryan Denlinger, Bryan Denlinger, Bryan Denlinger. And Sam Salween down here, whatever I like to call him, the Trinity guy. But people are obsessed.
Let's see. All his books. See, there's all his books and stuff. That's his new house. He has tons and tons of books. That's what the donations went to too.
Well, the donations went to. Okay, let's look at the picture here. This King James 1611 right here was given to me. This one here, a pastor gave me that one. That's the RV Revised Version, Authorized Version, Parallel Bible from the late 1800s, given to me by a pastor. This one was given to me by another friend of the ministry, the 1769 King James Bible. This old Bible here is I can't remember, the 1840s or something like that it goes back to. Pastor Guy Mosebrook, Liberty Baptist Church, gave me that Bible, given to me. A lot of these Bibles behind my head here were sent to me by people saying, if you know somebody that you can give one to, and I do give people Bibles and things. So these two books up here are Islamic books that were given to me. I actually had a Muslim give me all these different collared books right here. A sister in the Lord gave me these History on the Jewish People books right here. A lot of these books were given and sent. But, you know, again, I'm in international ministry. Shouldn't I have some books? You know, probably a good idea to have a few books if you're in international ministry. Just a thought. Let's continue.
And his four-wheeler. It doesn't really matter. What else? Let's see. Anyways. So he's just sitting on this money. Actually is. So
He's just sitting on this money, actually is. I mean, you know, oh, man. Just continue here. I'm going to answer this thing here because that's funny.
I mean, he got his ministry office probably this is his third office probably. He completed that trailer one, and so this is the second. Well, yeah, he got his house, his regular house, his new house. That trailer he converted. I think that's what that one is with all the wood is with all the wood paneling, like you know, like a western kind of feel to it. So
Western kind of feel. I decorate my offices in themes apparently. Western kind of feel. It's tongue and groove pine, which I built myself. Yeah. Okay. Continue here.
So he has three offices, and an ambulance, a bus.
I've moved, you know, different times over the last 6 years. Been open and honest about all of it. But see, they make it look like I'm just doing this all right now. Just oh man, I must be making millions of dollars. Yeah. Okay.
3 cars.
2 of which aren't inspectable anymore. And you forgot my ambulance. So I pulled over on you there, yeah, my old ambulance that needs work and things. So yeah.
Well, a car and one that you just bought of a truck that runs around just a beater.
No, it's not inspectable anymore. It's not inspectable. I can't just run it around. I don't even want to drive the thing on the road. I use it for doing, firewood and trimming things on my property and plowing, and that's it. Okay. The bed and the cab where it meets is twisted. I showed that in my video, but he didn't want to show that part. So
Ambulance, bus, couple properties. Bryan Denlinger, the money grubber, sitting on $32,000, and I don't know.
I don't know. Well, let me explain to you there. I'm sitting on 32,000. No, that's showing how much we raised since 2018 for the project of getting a new ministry office. Okay, let me just show you here really quickly. This is the original page, still there. Okay, 32,738 raised a $40,000 goal. We never reached the goal of $40,000. Okay, the Lord provided us with a place that was 30,000, where I'm now sitting, and it took us years to be able to get that property. Okay, the whole time I'm putting out, videos and things like that for free, not charging anybody anything for the videos. It's an online ministry reaching thousands of people. Show me another one that's doing the work that we do for and on the same budget. Darn any. Okay, but let's see what happens if you push donate now. Donations paused. Our team has contacted the organizer with a solution, and donations will resume once the issue is resolved. Okay, you say, what's the contact? Right here it is. In my personal email account, Friday, September 18th of 2020, 10:01 a.m. I'm not going to show the emails from them or me, whatever. Hello, this is a reminder that starting September 30th, 2020, your current fundraiser will no longer be able to accept new donations. If you have already submitted a request or are okay with no longer accepting donations after September 30th, 2020, no need to take any further action, which is exactly what I did. I didn't take any further, or I didn't do anything else and try to tell them and keep the thing going. So the GoFundMe thing ended. For some reason, they still have the page up, but it's over. You can't give to that anymore. Okay? Which I showed the proof there. It's paused. Doesn't work anymore. All right? Oh, but look at it. He's sitting on $32,738. No. They send you the money every month. So if one month you raise $200, one next month you raise $1,200 or whatever else, they send that money to you. There's no GoFundMe bank out there that has $32,738 that they're going to give me when I ask for it. Okay, they send it to you every month. So this Rocks for Brains guy here that made this video is openly lying. First, at the very beginning, he said that we raised 40,000. Now it's back down to 32,000. No proof. We never raised $40,000. Sorry, didn't happen. But secondly, they actually send it to you in small increments as it's raised. So we saved up our money, then kept praying that Lord would provide a place, and He has. And the ministry goes forward. That's what these devils don't like. They don't like the fact that God is actually blessing this ministry and God is actually using this ministry. That's what they don't like. Let's continue.
So so we lie about him giving you, having people give to him, sitting on $32,000.
We lie. Yes, I just proved that you did. I'm not sitting on $32,000. There is no money coming to me from GoFundMe anymore.
All this stuff, and we lie about that he's not just living off of you, he's buying all this stuff.
normal expenses over the course of 6 years since we've officially moved to Maine. 7 years if you want to go back to when we first bought property. We moved in 2014, January of 2014. So we're approaching, 7 years of living here, but definitely, 7 years of owning property in Maine.
He has cameras and stuff like that. Yeah, like, I guess to further the ministry, but that's not the ministry. To buy houses and other things. You could do it in your one of your rooms in your house. That's what you should have done.
Which we did for years and years at Bridgewater.
Are you going to turn that new house into like a house church? I don't think. I think it's a new office. So house your books.
So he's making these noises. Just cracks me up. Sorry. Are we going to turn this into a house church? Well, we will meet with people here, but this is a ministry office. Okay. I don't have a problem, meeting with people. Certainly not. I mean, I literally I meet neighbors, people walking the street up here. I've witnessed to people right out here in front of the place. And we have a lot of work to do right now, but eventually there's going to be signs, gospel signs on the property here, people telling people how to get saved and whatever. And word's been spreading around the town here that, hey, there's a preacher moved in, and I'm getting a lot of people and they say, so what do you do for a living? I say, well, I'm a preacher, King James Video Ministries. Oh, and they look around and they'll go, where's your church at? Well, we worship at home. And like the Bible says in the New Testament, people worshiped in their homes, and the church is not some building that you go to. And I get the, oh, okay, and this uncomfortable look that I've dealt with for many years. We've had some real good conversations with local people here. Had some great opportunities to witness. Looking forward to more of it as time goes by. I'm not afraid of people. I like to talk to people. Okay, we're not hermits. We don't live in the middle of nowhere and run away from people or something like that. We live in a very remote area, yes, but we like to talk to people. We like to witness to people. But I'm not going to be putting cameras in people's faces to make dramatic moments so I can get a lot of views on YouTube. It's weird. These people, they know so much about me. That's the thing. It's always impressed me about this. But continue.
So he has 3 ministry offices, an ambulance, a bus, trailer, 2 houses, 2 or 3 properties with acres upon acres of land, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Welcome. Now, Bryan Denlinger, the money grubber. Well, I hope you're happy with all this. Okay, see ya.
Yeah. So that's it. Bryan Denlinger, the money grubber. I hope you're happy. Well, yes, I do have joy in Jesus Christ and my salvation. I do have joy in knowing that I've helped a lot of people. I've met a lot of really neat people over the years, and I've been there for people. So yes, I am actually, I do have a lot of joy. I'm happy as well. So thank you. I'm glad that you hope that I'm happy. I am. So, yeah, I'm sorry. Seeing, it was torture. Yeah, I know. But, so, yeah, I get back to just a little time of fellowship with everybody here, just some question and answer time, I guess. So, yeah, but hey, anybody, if you have questions seriously about what we do, how we live, whatever else, he's wearing his mask. He might be, don't want to get baloney virus. But oh man, that's one of the best ones I've heard. I saw another one the one time. People were having a conversation. Oh, I forgot to do the one thing. Let me just um, no, that's not the one. Ah, well, I won't bother. But I read the comments sometimes. Some of these things, um, I'll just go because again, people link me to stuff. They say, hey, check this out, or some of the brave followers of these people, they'll post links. You need to watch this if you believe in Denlinger. And I'll think, okay, what's this? And I'll click on a link and I'll look at it a little bit. No, brother, it's one of these. And what am I going to do? Just, oh, well, they have a right to post nonsense on, stupid nonsense to try to destroy my ministry. No, I delete it and I block them from the channel. I don't have time to waste with trolls, you know, um, just that simple. I remember going to a Baptist church the one time where I was sort of, acting as assistant pastor, the last one I went to. And I preached for the pastor there and preached many times in the pulpit. There's old videos of me preaching there. I posted on my channel. And this charismatic guy came the one night and he was in all kinds of weird heresy. And of course, you can lose your salvation, he was saying. And it got rather heated and I was arguing with the guy and whatever else. And I mean, if he would have said, I'm going to stay here, whatever, I'd have said, get out the door. You don't let wolves into the congregation. You don't let people come in that are bad. People coming in and having disagreements is fine. But when you get people that are just trying to destroy ministry, you kick them out. That's what the Bible says to do. And then they'll lie about you and whatever else. Evil report. That's just there. But I've tried to do my best, and YouTube is a terrible place. Let's just be honest. YouTube is an awful place to try to do ministry. Again, it's not my fault for being on YouTube. It's all of you out there. I'll blame you people because you have so many good questions. And I'm too dumb to quit. People ask me questions. I say, yeah, I don't have a sermon on that. That's a really good question. I probably should do a sermon on that. And a sermon is created. And then, the Lord will give me some things. And my wife does research as well. And she'll find things. The Lord shows her things and away we go. And here I am all these years later. And, you say, well, if this work of this council be of men, it will come to naught. Well, YouTube is of men. I'm in a public forum here. It's not my website. Will it come to naught? Yeah, it will. Eventually, there won't be any Bible believers on YouTube. Robert Faker Breaker and Gene Clickbait Kim, those guys are monetized channels, and so they'll be big shots on YouTube probably from now till the Antichrist shows up and they start worshiping him. Whatever, they're monetized, they're getting paid, they're not being persecuted by anybody. The atheist websites out there like Rational Wiki, they're not even attacking Robert Breaker or Gene Kim. They don't even say anything. And those guys got hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I don't want hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I don't want monetization coming from YouTube. That's not the point. The point is, ways that you can tell who's legitimate. How many enemies do they have? Okay. I mean, you hear testimony. That's great. Hear a preacher. What's their testimony? All right. If you haven't heard mine, you can watch my video where I go through the story of Bryan Denlinger, how I got saved. But just very quickly, I was raised in going to church buildings. False profession of faith when I was a boy in Sunday school because it was pressured. And I didn't want to feel stupid. So I raised my hand that I wanted to be saved. And I went out in the hall and prayed the prayer. Had no idea what I was doing. I loved the Lord. I really sincerely did. I believed the Bible. And I did believe that Jesus died on the cross to pay for my sins. But I didn't understand what sin really was or anything else. I was a boy, little boy, taken advantage of in Sunday school by a zealous teacher that wanted to get converts. And so she could come and say, we had, 12 children saved in Sunday school today. And, so I fell for it and I thought, hey, I'm a Christian. This is great. I go to church and my parents are teaching Sunday school and everything else in the church. We're a Christian family, even though we went to public school and we, watched television, and there was no conviction of that, and rock music and the whole thing. But we were Christians. And years later, I got into the art world. I got into logging, and I just got to a point where I was just miserable. I had no reason to live. Actually, was about ready to kill myself. Was very suicidal at the time, and very deep depression. And I came to a point where I just walked outside of my um, art studio one night, and I just looked up at the sky and I said, God, I know you're real. I know you're real. And I just don't know what is the point of life. And I just want you to give me wisdom. Had no idea about James chapter 1. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally and upbraideth not. I had no idea. I couldn't have quoted that to save my life. But I came to a point where I was broken, and the Lord started to show me truth. I didn't get saved right then when I called out to the Lord, but he showed me truth, and I started to realize I'm not a Christian. I'm not saved. I'm not born again. There's no way. I can't say I'd go to heaven right now if I died. And I got down on my knees for the first time, totally broken, and just said, God, I need to be saved. Please save me. I'm tired of this world. I'm tired of my life. I'm scared, and I'm going to stay here on my knees until I know that I'm saved. And please, God, save me. I believe that Jesus died on the cross, was buried, rose again. According to the scriptures, I believe that. I see it now. I used to make fun of the Bible as a saved, Christian in my teenage years. I used to make fun of the King James Bible, and I wasn't making fun anymore. And the Lord saved me, and then just saved me. Called me into the ministry, which really still blows my mind. But that's my story, basically my testimony. So you look at a preacher, you look at his testimony, then you look at the Bible that he uses. My King James Bible, oh, there it is. Look at the Bible that he uses. The Holy Spirit will not lead a man to use a new version. Okay, not happening. Some guy that uses a new version, he might be ignorant of the issue, and later on become a Bible believing Christian once he's straightened out on the facts. But the Holy Spirit will not lead a man to preach for 5, 10, 20 years out of a new version. Not happening. This is God's book for English speaking people. And then you look at his doctrine after that, and then you look at the fruit that he produces. And I've been examined by so many different people over the years. This ministry has been critiqued and criticized almost like no other ministry out there. And we're still here. And the Lord still blesses. And you get a blessing out of watching the videos. And that's all there is to say about that. So, but anybody at all, I mean, if you have questions about what we do or whatever else, or how many vehicles we have, if that's really important, or how many of these books did I actually buy here behind me? I did actually, I have to admit to something. I have to admit, I bought something here for the ministry. I will show it. Because you can't really see it too good. There's actually my old sign back here from when I was in the art world. This is what I would have at my art shows when I would go. I'll show this quick. That's my old business sign. Oop, this way. So that's my last name over there, Denlinger, of course. And this is my initials here, B, then there's a T, D. And this is what I would put underneath the wooden bowls when I would make them. But this I would hang at my art shows at my booth where I would be selling my work. It is made out of a plank of solid ash from a guy that I got it from. So the back's not finished. Still has the old water stains. I never planed it or sanded it or anything else. It's just the old. You can see that this is called sticker stain down here. When lumber dries, it's air dried ash. But anyhow, but I'll show this. This one I bought recently. This is a kind of a little message to the higher ups within the popery, the kind of spirit that is behind this ministry. So this is a replica of the sword that Oliver Cromwell used in battle. So this is what he carried into battle. So the same fighting spirit against Roman Catholicism that Oliver Cromwell had is what I seek to have in my ministry. Cromwell knew about the temporal power of the Vatican. If you don't understand what that means, the Vatican has two powers, temporal and spiritual. They believe that they have the right to rule the world through the political structure, which they do through Catholic knighthoods and, Knights of Equestrian Order, Knights of Malta, Knights of, Columbus, whatever. They control temporally. All the kings of the earth bow down to the Vatican. They commit fornication with the Vatican. And that's why you see all the presidents, all the world leaders go and meet with the Pope. It's right there in front of your face. Again, if you're newly saved, you might not see that. You might not understand that. But you read Revelation chapter 17, and it describes the political and spiritual power of the Vatican. And they openly admit to the both spiritual and temporal powers of the Vatican. I have this book here, which I've showed many times, but the Church Teaches by Jesuit fathers at St. Mary's College. And if I remember correctly, there's something in the back about the spiritual and temporal power of the Vatican. But they have just, I think it's over 200 anathemas in here. If anybody doesn't believe this or that, let them be anathema. They're cursing people, in other words. I don't know where it's at, but they talk about the spiritual and temporal power. I don't have that page marked. But anyhow, is this the one? No, it's not there. Trying to find it. It wasn't, but it's in there. But they talk about that whole thing. So I'll show your comment here, Jacob. I was a few minutes behind. That Shepherd's ambassador loser's name is Tony Alvetro. He reviewed my book. He read the introduction and proceeded to say I did not address X, Y, and Z. Oh, yeah. I'm sure he's a real scholar, scholar of the bottle, perhaps. Much of my family voted for Trump, even after I showed them evidence that he's a Jesuit. They say he's the lesser of the two evils, and they claim to be a Christian as well. I'd never vote for Jesuit. Good. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are falling for it. He tells you what you want to hear. Trump is a con man. That's why he's rich. Okay. Question: when we can no longer use mail, email, and comments, how do you recommend we gather locally together? Should we backpack from town to town, homeless? The Lord will have to lead in that. I don't know. The whole thing is you read the book of Acts. Just study the book of Acts, and you'll see that the church it's very flexible. They get persecuted here, they move over this way. They're fleeing, they can move, and I think the Lord's going to return that to the body of Christ. If you don't live in a very, very remote area, there's a good chance you're going to have to be fleeing and moving other places and things. That's why, you don't have to worship the Lord every week from 9 to 12 on Sunday. It can be flexible whenever, wherever. Question: do you know anything about Amharic Bibles? I think you mean Aramaic. I am yet to find a perfect translation. If I can't find any, what should I do? If you mean Aramaic, I'm not really sure on that one. I'm not sure. Maybe you're saying Amharic, but I don't know. There's a lot of, the whole thing of translations being available in every language is not really a biblical thing. The Lord went through the Old Testament, and all His word was written in was Hebrew. Then the New Testament, Greek, and then the whole Bible, English. Can you make accurate translations? Yeah, but they should line up with the King James Bible. That's my belief. Do you believe John 9:4-5 is a reference to a pre-trib rapture? I find there are similarities to 2 Thessalonians 2:7. What are your thoughts on this passage? John 9:4-5. Go there quick. I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. As in, when Jesus Christ leaves, the body of Christ leaves, that, the work's not going to be done anymore in terms of the body of Christ and things. Yeah, actually I do. That's very good. Question: what does your Foxfire book series look like, brother? I bought a set recently, and I have reprints. In other words, not old, used. Yeah, the newer ones are paperback. We have some of the older ones that are hardback. I've found them, and we go to used bookstores, and sometimes it takes years, sometimes to find a full set, and we don't even have the full set yet. But the old ones, the hardback ones, we like because we prefer the hardback. My first Foxfire book was the original one, and it was just the old paperback, and the thing's just falling apart. So we were able to find another one hardback, and but when they update them, a lot of times they'll bring in new information and whatever. So that's why we try to stick with first editions and whatever else. It can be hard to find sometimes. It's not going to be easy to find that stuff, but be an interesting thing to compare them. I've never done that. Question: Genesis chapter 26, I think it says Abraham followed the laws and statutes of the Lord. So was there a law before the law? Well, Abraham lived under a system of grace. Well, grace has always been there, but faith and works. He had to have faith that God would provide himself a lamb. He speaks that when he goes up to sacrifice his son, and yet he had to go and sacrifice his son, which the Lord stopped it, of course, but there was faith and works there. So there were certain things that were in as laws there before the Mosaic law. Sacrificing animals and things like that. They did that. We don't have to do that today. But you'll see that up on even before the time of Moses. You'll see the thing of they're sacrificing animals to the Lord, which, like I said, we don't have to do that. Okay, what do you think of the new King James Version? It's another new version from the Vatican. You'll see, if you look at the footnotes of the new King James, let's see if there's one here. Yes. Now, they've since been very careful to take this symbol off, the triquetra, of the witchcraft trinity, false pagan satanic symbol here. But this is the new King James Version. And what they'll do is, in the New Testament, a lot of times they'll, right here, it says NU text and M text reads U. NU text omits through the Spirit. NU text omits forever. See if I can show this here, down here at the very bottom of the page. On focus there. There it is. Okay. And so what they do is they'll put similar text to the King James up here in the actual text, but then they draw it into question down here with the Alexandrian manuscripts. The Nestle-Aland, the NU, what they're referring to is Nestle-Aland and the United Bible Society's text. Okay. So they'll and the M there that you see is the majority text, which is not the Textus Receptus. It's the majority text is made by Hodges and Farstad. I have a copy of it here somewhere. Yeah, right there. This is the majority text right there. Okay, you can see the Hodges and Farstad right here, if it will focus. There, Thomas Nelson, Catholic book publisher. But this is not the Textus Receptus. Again, let me explain the different types of Greek texts for everybody out there. Okay, this is a Textus Receptus. This is basically what the translators of the King James Bible would have had when they made their translation. This is a Greek text. Okay, they find ancient manuscripts and they compile them into a text. Right, these ones here are the received text. Okay, the vast majority, 99% of extant Greek manuscripts match this text. This one here is the Nestle's 28th edition. Okay, the latest Nestle's text. All right, and I don't think it has it in the forward of this one. They did put a new thing in the 28th edition, as you can see right up there at the top, the Catholic letters and things, but this one here is an Alexandrian text. This one comes from, this is a Syrian, Antioch. This one here is Alexandrian Egypt. And the less than 1% support the changes that were made in this text. Okay, but if you go with the 27th edition of the Nestle's text, which is right here, you can see 27 on the spine there. This is the Nestle-Aland. Down here talks about this text, was made under the supervision and agreement between the Vatican and the United Bible Societies. It has served as the basis for new translations and for revisions made under their supervision. So this is a Catholic text. Again, I'll show you that down at the bottom there. You can see it there. Okay. So you have Nestle's 27th, 28th, Textus Receptus. And then here you have the majority text, which is a joke, because what they did is they took Receptus readings up here and they blended them with Nestle's type of stuff right here, and then they call it the majority. It's not the majority. Okay, so yeah, just to kind of clear that up. Hopefully that answers your question. Back to questions here. Question: Were you able to get everything done to prepare you and your family for winter? And if you need anything, let us know. Yesterday, we have just to kind of explain a little bit more about our personal stuff that we do, the way we live, and whatever else. We have 2 springs on our property. Neither one is able to, we can't really get water out of them at this point. The one is a spring fed, like a little pond, maybe about 16 feet in diameter. It's not a very big pond. But the moose like to go down there and they like to drink from it. So you can't really, they probably drink and urinate in it and whatever else. And so we don't really want to get water from there. It is spring fed little pond, but not a real good source for water. And then there's one that's called a side hill seep. We just discovered it this past winter, and we are going to try and work on that. And if anybody has information on how to work on a side hill seep spring, it comes out of there's a hill going down, there's a big rock, and then underneath the rock, the water comes out and it runs down through the woods. And it's a pretty good flow. So I'm excited about that. We're going to have to build some kind of a box or something and put a pipe that comes out and goes down the hill and then comes out. And then we can just go to that pipe for running water. We're not going to drill a well. Again, talking to our neighbors, it's really rocky up there because it's up on top of a mountain, essentially. Not the very peak, but it's up in the mountains. And about 900 something feet above sea level. So, so we have to get water from another place. There's a spring that we drive to get our drinking water. And we also use rainwater catchment for washing clothes, bathing, washing dishes, that kind of thing. So we have the springs in the area basically go dry in the summer months, and so including our own spring. And so we bought a big tank, and we go and we fill it manually, and then that we can stretch that through a couple months of summer. Well, then right before everything freezes, we have to drain the tank, or else it just turns into solid ice inside there. So we did that yesterday, and the springs are back up again. They're running again. So that's what we do for running water. So we did that yesterday. We were doing firewood. There's still a few projects that we have to get done before winter hits. It's a tough life here. Again, we're doing it as a way to we can tell people in the future, here's how you can live without debt. Here's how you can save lots of money and whatever else. Paul wrote and he said, I am made all things to all men that I might by all means save some. When you get into ministry, the Lord will put you through things so that you can witness to other people and you can tell other people how to do things. So, but good question. Yes, we still do have some things to get done. Do I have an opinion on Dr. Walter Martin? Yes, I do. He takes it easy on the Catholics. I don't trust him. Zipping down through here. Greetings from Scotland. Thank you so much for your videos. I've been watching nonstop and learning from you, and it's changed my life. Thank you for bringing me back to the Lord. Well, praise the Lord. Thank you. That keeps me going. Again, we get that a lot, and wow, I always love to hear that. Question: do you believe the Antichrist is born of a man and woman? Ruckman said he would come from a UFO. Not sure if he was serious or joking. If so, I think he is alive today, waiting to be revealed. I think the Antichrist is alive today, waiting to be revealed. But Ruckman was joking about the UFO thing. I know this sermon. He goes, he talks about this UFO come down, this 13-foot tall Christ steps out. I think he was just kind of messing around there. I do think he's just going to be a mortal man. I don't think he's going to be born somehow supernaturally or whatever. It's just that the devil's going to inhabit him. Question: what was the significance and meaning of the circumcision in the Old Testament? I've heard that Christians today are circumcised in the sense that soul and flesh are separate. Yes, they are. That's in the Bible, but we're not going to go into the whole thing there. But the Lord did a few things to separate the nation of Israel, the Jewish people, from the heathen nations around them, and circumcision was a part of that. So I'm trying to get to Question: should we resign to a cashless system, or should we leave while we are not completely tracked? If we leave, how will we buy and sell? Do what you can to minimize, your purchasing from stores that are all about cashless type of things. Try to do cash as much as you can, just to kind of rebel against the system. I mean, it's inevitable. They'll outlaw cash. They're trying to make little jabs at cash with the coronavirus thing. Yeah. But there's ways that you can live where you don't need a lot of money. Make yourself poor so that you can be rich. Another way to say it. Question: please remind us where you get quality cotton clothes. Well, secondhand stores are a good place. We go there a lot. I am literally wearing this is a secondhand sweater. It's a wool sweater. I wear it in the wintertime. Underneath this wool sweater, underneath here is a wool vest that I got on eBay. And then this is a cotton flannel shirt here, and I did buy that new. I got that from Amazon. But just shop around. Dig a depression below it and build a box around it with a lid. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. But the problem is, it's kind of the rock kind of comes like this, but then it kind of flattens out for a ways, and it's kind of swampy right there. So it's kind of a, I would normally, if it was a really good hill, I would just build a little box around it, let the water fill up and come out a pipe, and call it good. I mean, that's basically what we get our water from. There's a pipe where they have water coming out there. So it's kind of tricky because it's about maybe 20 feet till it kind of goes downhill again, and it's a swamp in there. So not sure what I'm going to do yet. If I have to run a pipe the whole way down the hill, or I don't know, it's gonna be a lot of work. But question: what hymn book would you recommend? I got it up here, I think. This is one I used for a long time. It's all worn pretty badly. Living Hymns, it's called. But I've had different people tell me it's not really one of the best ones. I mean, you can't even see the hymns anymore word there, but it has most of the old hymns in it. So it's one I've found to be decent, but there's others out there. I'm not really all that great on that question, to be honest with you. So what is a Foxfire book? A Foxfire book is, well, we don't have them here. They're not here at the office. Years ago, in the 1970s, I believe it was, there was a school teacher down in, I think, North Carolina, and he came up with a project to get his students to pay attention more in class. And it was basically go on out and interview older people, like your grandparents or elderly people that are in the area, and get them to explain how they did things before electricity and before modern ways came in. And so these students would go out and they would actually interview older people, and they would talk about, they would audio record, and then they would basically write phonetically how they were speaking, write it out in a series of, it was a magazine, then it became a book series. And it's really fascinating stuff about how mountain people lived in the Appalachian Mountains back many years ago. A lot of interesting wisdom and things there. Don't agree with everything that they say, but that's what the Foxfire books are. How to build a log home, how to raise pigs, how to, out there in the mountains, how to hunt, how to fish, folk medicine, things like that. Question: do you think that there is a spiritual tie with the mark of the beast where it only can be accepted by free will? Yeah, I do. I don't think that it's going to be forced in the sense of people won't understand it or whatever else. I think that it will be a clear join, and give your allegiance to the beast type of a deal. It isn't going to be just a banking thing. Um, they're going to have to merge the political and the religious, and we see more and more Catholics coming in all the time to the political spectrum. I mean, we have no choice right now for president here in America. Jesuit educated Trump, who gives his allegiance to the Catholic Church. The end of the Republican National Convention, they sang Ave Maria and did this whole invocation to Mary thing. Or Joe Biden, who's an open Catholic. And Trump, who's he appoint for the Supreme Court Justice? Amy Coney Barrett or whatever else, which is a charismatic Catholic. She lives in a commune type of a thing with other charismatics. So, but that's where we're headed. Question. I moved out of my country 2 years ago, and ever since I watched your video on interracial marriage, I've been wondering if I should go back to my homeland. Well, if your homeland is a good place, my ancestors came to America to escape the Roman Catholic controlled religion thing of Bavaria. That's where my ancestry is from. I mean, there's literally a town of Denklingen in Bavaria, and Denklinger Rotwald, Red Forest over there, named after my ancestors. So my ancestors came here in 1714 to Pennsylvania, actually. I've kind of migrated more north now in the state of Maine, but if I could go back to Bavaria, I would go back to Bavaria. I would go back to Germany. I would love to go there. I would absolutely I think it'd be a really neat experience, but I don't think I could preach there the way I preach here. So that's why I'm still here. What will happen in the future? I don't know. But if you can go back to your country, the Lord calls you to go back, then go back. Absolutely. Question, are you excited for this wonderful vaccine coming out? Oh, yeah, I just can't wait to get, toxic chemicals put into my blood. Oh, I'm sorry, they mean muscle. You put it up here in the muscle, and it somehow magically doesn't get into the bloodstream, but yet it requires the bloodstream to get it to where it needs to go. Yeah, thankfully, and here's the point, just to really encourage you out there, here's something that you need to know. Any law, no matter how it's passed or whoever passes it or whatever, they need to have 60% compliance for that law to pass, for it to actually be enforced. Say it that way. And if they don't have 60% of the population behind it that will submit to it, then the law is null and void. It doesn't work. They can't enforce it. The enforcers the government, the politicians, the police, the military, whatever else, they're very small in number compared to the vast majority of people. So they don't have the manpower to go out and enforce a law that's unpopular. And that's why mandatory face masking, it never, they tried to make it into the thing of national mandate or whatever. Didn't work because 60% of the people did not comply. A large number of people just refused. So we're not going to go along with it. And I saw the one part of the last presidential debate, and they literally one of the questions was about, that 40% of Americans said that they would possibly take the vaccine if it comes out. Well, then that means 60% are saying no. So that's a good thing. That's why we need to speak up. It's not just a hopeless, oh, well, we're just going to have to take it. That's all there is to it. It's not hopeless. We speak up. We're supposed to be a light in this dark world. We can turn enough people against this thing to push it back. So that's what I hope for. Question, what do you think of Ruckman's note on 2 Thessalonians 2:7 in his study Bible? He says the one taken out of the way is the man of sin, the Antichrist, that he gets killed and then he comes back as the Antichrist, I guess, or something. Don't agree with him. Doesn't make sense. Because he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way, and then shall that wicked be revealed. Well, that doesn't really make any sense. That the Antichrist is going to hinder himself from showing up till he's taken out of the way. Taken out of the way doesn't mean he dies and then is resurrected. Ruckman was wrong on that. Ruckman was wrong on a bunch of things. King James Bible is my authority, not Peter Ruckman, which many people already know that, but question. My parents don't talk to me because I married an English girl and they are Amish. What should I do? Well, your parents need to get saved. And I'm assuming that you're saved, that you're born again. I don't know. But I understand the thing of shunning. It's what cults do. And your parents are afraid of being cast out of the church, exactly as the blind man's parents in John, was it 9 or 10? Chapter 9 or 10. Yeah, I understand the Amish system very well. You're going to have a very hard time getting them out of that system because they're going to have to be showed that they're sinners, that their works are not going to save them, that they're on their way to hell. And they're going to have to walk away from their church. And that's going to be a tough one. Question, what would you advise a 19-year-old girl? What advice would you give a 19-year-old girl? Learn to be a keeper at home. Learn skills with your hands. Learn the Bible. Pray for a godly husband and wait for a godly husband. Do not compromise and just say, I want to get married. I'm not getting along with my parents. I'm just going to run out and get this guy's, I'm interested in this guy and he's interested in me. I think he loves me. He's got some issues. He smokes and he drinks and he looks at pornography occasionally, but I think it'll get better after marriage. Oh, brother, no, don't ever fall for that stuff. Unless the guy is born again, saved, don't mess with him. If you're born again, if you're a Christian, wait for God's timing for a husband. And that might be a little while, but just be there. If you're at home with your parents, then make yourself useful around the house. Say, hey, mom, let me help with cooking. Let me help with cleaning. Teach me how to cook. Teach me how to clean things. I'll go clean the bathroom. I'll get down on my hands and knees and clean around the toilet. Whatever. Serve your parents. Honor thy father and mother. And learn skills that will be useful to you in a future marriage. If you decide to stay single, then, pray about what the Lord wants you to do there. All right. That's my advice to a 19-year-old girl. That's the advice I would give. I don't know if you are a 19-year-old girl, but I'm assuming you are. Okay, I just did a video showing that the vaccine will be tracked and linked to phones and stuff. Trump's goons are all involved and being very secretive. Not real surprising, brother. Yeah, I mean, he's trying to get the military to roll the thing out. Pretty sickening. I'm in the UK and they're putting us back in lockdown. Yeah, I heard that. There's no way I'm complying. Well, do what you can. I think if people would come together in numbers, again, see here again, there was a scene in a movie that Bob Jones University put out. I'm not a fan of Bob Jones University, but they put out a movie called The Printing, and there was a time when they actually had a church service in Russia, Soviet Russia, when it was illegal, and they had 100 people come together and they were worshiping, and the authorities came and they only took away the pastors, the elders, to take them off to prison, and whatever. But the point is, you get enough people together and you get out in public and you do things and whatever. I think if we had Christians that could network and say, let's get together and let's all go to the store, nobody wears face masks. Let's all walk into the store together, 20, 30 people, 10 people. If you're a lady, a saved lady, and your husband's saved, don't go to the store without your husband. Okay. Saved daughter, don't go to the store without your dad or your older brother or something. Go in groups. Okay. things have changed. We can't just say, oh, it's going to be fine, everything's going to be all right. We need to come together in power and strength, and do what we can to resist this evil. Question: what about the push for Noahide law? I apologize. I saw that question earlier and I thought, Noahide law. Maybe the Lord will bring it back to my mind, and He's not. I'm forgetting what that means. I'm sorry. If you could just clarify what the Noahide law thing is. Forget what that is. Question: are there any videos of you comment on apologetics? I saw a few videos from David Wood, and he believes in Trinity. David Wood is a trained Jesuit. Okay, don't watch David Wood. David Wood is no good. All right, he is a Trinitarian, and anybody that's been trained by the Jesuits, according to the Jesuits, is a part of the Jesuit family. So that's why I just call them Jesuits. So yeah, the apologetics thing is basically guys that want to destroy people with their intellectual arguments and superiority and whatever. It's pride based is what the whole apologetics thing is. Men of God are supposed to preach the word, not get into scholarly debates and sit around and, you know, debate so and so, and I'll debate so and so. Question: do you recommend books by Walter Martin? No. I was reading his Kingdom of the Cults, and he said something about the Bible being inerrant in the originals only. Yeah, he's a typical new versionist, takes it easy on the Catholics. No, I don't recommend his books. I actually have them. People send them to me, but I was given one many years ago by my older brother, but I don't recommend him. I'm just seeing here. This is Carl. I don't know if you missed my question, bro. Have you checked out Grace and Truth Ministries, the pastors, Jim Brown? What do you think of us teachers? Go to Romans chapter 8, verse 29 to 30. Oh, nope. Ooh. Picked up the wrong one there. Just hold on. Let me get that out of the way. I don't want to get corrupted from that thing. Romans chapter 8, verse 29 through 30. I don't know. I've never heard. Jim Brown sounds familiar. Grace and Truth Ministries sounds familiar, but I dealt with a lot of things over the years. I'm not sure. For whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his Son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren. Moreover, whom he did predestinate, them he also called, and whom he called, them he also justified, and whom he justified, them he also glorified. So I'm assuming probably it's a Calvinistic thing, because that's one of the Calvinistic favorite passages to go to. It's one of their go-to text, proof text. So I don't really know much about him. But if he's going to that passage, Romans chapter 8, verse 29 through 30, it's probably a Calvinist. There's all kinds of problems with Calvinism. What do you think about Gideon Brothers? I don't know about Gideon Brothers, sister. I'm sorry. I don't really know about that. Gideons, I've heard of the Gideons that go out and give out Bibles and things, which I don't recommend them, because they started going with New King James Bibles and using new versions to give out. Have you listened to any E.C. Moore teachings? I think he's a hyper-dispensationalist, so no, I don't listen to him. Do you think taking antidepressants is okay for a safe person, even if it helps? No, I don't, because any kind of a pharmaceutical drug is a form of witchcraft, because they bend, shape, and change reality. That's the definition of witchcraft. They're doing it with toxic chemicals. And I've made a statement, very simple statement. You can't get good health from toxic chemicals. And believe me, you would not believe the stuff that they put in these pills. I mean, we have the medical books to prove it. You know, we've spent a lot of money on that. So yeah. Question: do you think Nabil Qureshi was saved? No idea. I think he was some former Muslim or something, whatever, spoke different times. I don't really know anything about the guy. Do you know of any good material on how the King James translators made certain decisions on their translation? Boy, that's a good question. I don't know. There's a bunch of different books on that. Most of my books on the Bible version issue are back this way. You know, the Bible's up here, then I have a bunch of stuff on the translation there, and down into here, and even some stuff down there. I can't name one off the top of my head. Maybe Gibbs' Understandable History of the Bible. Oh boy, good question. My adult-saved son and I shop together. We wear no masks. No one has approached us to make us wear one. However, I have noticed when we enter Kroger's, a recording is heard to wear the mask. Yeah, we would like to remind our shoppers to please practice social distancing and wear a face mask. Thank you. Yeah, I've heard the same kind of a thing. It's kind of whatever. So, you just got to say this real quick. Antidepressants have my depression so much worse. I've come off them recently and I've been feeling much better. Pharmaceutical drugs are designed to basically stimulate different things in your mind, the blood vessels and whatever else. And it's kind of a they get things active and then they start to wear off. And then they get things active and they start to wear off. And what happens is things accumulate, there's poison and then the bioaccumulates. In other words, it gets into the body and it gets worse and worse. And it also creates more problems because it weakens your natural systems because it's artificially stimulating the blood vessels and things. So in time, your dependence on the drug gets more. It doesn't work like it once did. Same thing with antibiotics. You go for antibiotics for a cold, and the next time you go back, that same prescription won't work because your body, the virus or the bacteria will change and whatever. And so you need stronger antibiotics and stronger and stronger. And they need to, with prescription drugs, they need to up your prescription over and over again because it's artificially stimulating the body. And the body's responding to the chemicals and the poisoning and saying, ugh, bad stuff. So that's why you get people on antidepressants. They're not on the same one for 50 years or any kind of pharmaceutical drugs. They have to up the prescription all the time. It's destroying your body is what it's doing. Very, very wicked, very satanic. Question: is receiving pensions or retirement checks of God? Well, I understand the concept of retirement or getting a pension type of a thing, and you're investing money into a 401k and they're matching what you put in, and so you get kind of thing back. The problem is I would call it uncertain riches, because when the stock market collapses, which is not very far off, um, a lot of people are going to lose their 401ks. They're going to their investments that they're people putting things into the stock market. You're getting the money coming back and whatever. It's going to crash. And so having that as a hope is a bad idea. Um, there's a guy I watch, an economist, and he says, if you don't own it, or if you can't hold it, you don't own it. And that's very simple. And you see that throughout the Bible. Abraham was wealthy because he had possessions. And it wasn't just gold and silver and precious stones. It was, cattle and lands and whatever else. It's one of the reasons, that wing nut that I showed in the beginning of the video, he's talking about land that we bought and whatever else. Well, part of the reason I bought land is because, number one, if the economy goes bad, I can log my own property and sell logs and make money that way. Secondly, it's something that I can pass on to my son that I know will have some future value. If I just take all my money and stick it in a retirement account someplace, well, that's probably not going to be there for my son someday. So now I understand that catching up is probably going to happen before my son becomes an adult. I get it. But the Bible says I'm supposed to lay up for my children. A good father will provide for his own. So the best way for me to provide for my son is to have enough land that we can log it in the future if we need to, which we're already preparing. We're pruning trees and things. We like to go out as a family and prune trees. I know we're weird, but we like to prune trees and, increase the health of our property, so the trees get bigger, get healthier. So one day if we log it, be decent money. So if you don't, just remember that statement. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. That's a problem with retirement and pension. Question, will you be doing any street preaching in the future? Possibly. I've gotten out of it simply because right now with the climate in this country, doing street preaching, it's not something I'm called to do all the time. I have done it in the past, but this country is a powder keg ready to explode right now, and I'm just going to kind of let things kind of go for a little while, and then we'll see what happens in the future. But I'm kind of always on call in terms of that. If anybody ever goes out here and tries to protest or whatever else, I will go out and preach to them. Our old property up in Bridgewater, that place there, they had a rock concert, and I went out and I preached to them and things. So if I am ever at some place and there's some wicked thing going on, I will street preach at that type of a thing. A very good question. When reading the ingredients section before I buy something, which chemicals should I look for in order to avoid the product? I don't think of the books here. There's a book, a little small paperback book, which is called What is in Your Food? I think it's called that. And it goes over a lot of the additives. Again, just to explain commercial food. Commercial food, they have to put things in it as preservatives. Okay, there are certain things that they do there to keep it on the store shelf for a long time. It's not fresh, but it has to stay in a decent condition or whatever, so they put chemicals in to preserve it. They also put chemicals in to enhance the flavor. Those things are excitotoxins is what they're called. And those things would fall under monosodium glutamate is one. And it's MSG, high fructose corn syrup solids, corn, there's all kinds of things, corn sweeteners, and they have all different types of names to hide high fructose corn syrup. Another one of the names for MSG is natural flavors. You'll see that. Magnesium stearate, also another one that you want to avoid. Hydrogenated vegetable oils, bad stuff on that. I have a study that's the sin of gluttony and how to fight against it, I think is what it's called. It's an old study. I did it years ago before we came to Maine. And you can watch that, and I get into a lot of those food additives, stuff that you should avoid. And you will notice a difference, by the way, when you start to avoid those things. And that's good answer here, Brother Matthew. Anything that you cannot dig out of the ground yourself or pick from bushes, trees. Go to the fresh produce area of your grocery store, and that's usually going to have, if it has an ingredients label list on the back, good chance it's going to have something bad in it. But I'm not saying don't buy anything without an ingredients list. Please hear me out there, but just be careful. Minimally processed foods is what you're looking for, as natural as possible. Question: is it okay for a medical checkup for a woman's issue, just to find out what's wrong, not for treatment, meds, etc.? Well, I would simply say with that, find ways. It's so bad going to the doctor, because most doctors they're pushing pharmaceutical pills, and they'll get it. I mean, they will do this thing of, how are you feeling today? Well, I'm a little bit, stressed out about whatever. Oh, you're stressed, really? Well, I mean, you can't be honest with them. We avoid doctors altogether. If there's some issues my wife is having or whatever else, she'll look it up online, natural remedies for, or I'm having pain someplace or whatever else. Get some books on natural healing, natural health, nutritional therapy type of stuff. Be your own doctor, is what I would say. David Wood earned a doctorate in philosophy from Fordham University. Yeah. Take heed lest any man spoil you through philosophy. Yeah. And Fordham University is the same place that Trump went to. It's Jesuit school. Yeah. Just got to reply here. Trump is a Jesuit-controlled devil. Yeah, his building there in New York City is the core is based on the Palace of Versailles or something like that. King Louis the 14th, or I probably have that wrong, but the king that he patterned his penthouse there in New York after was he hated Bible believing Christians and put them to death. So it should kind of tell you, this is the hero of Donald Trump, a king in France that hated Christians and persecuted Christians. I'm going to vote for Trump. He's a good man. Have you seen the World Bank 2020 document report? It states the virus is expected to last till 2025. No, I haven't seen that. We can fight against that, though. Ryan, what do you think about having a land patent on your property rather than just a warranty deed? I haven't looked into some of that stuff. I know that there are some things out there. Probably should look into it. I just kind of rely on the Lord to take care of me in those areas. So that's how I would answer that. Yeah, Trump liked Norman Vincent Peale. Yeah, he did. The power of positive thinking. Norman Vincent Peale, the Freemason that he was, that guy was a Fruit Loop. But so, well, I should probably, I guess, bring this to an end. It's 2 hours. So don't forget that I'm what the guy call me? The money grubber. Bryan Denlinger, the money grubber. So, I've been wanting to just get on and just have a little fellowship with the brethren. I always like these times together. So I just thought it'd be funny. People send me links to stuff, and I see links to things, and I think, what is this? And so, just to explain, what the deal is with the GoFundMe thing. And hey, to everybody out there, all these people, please issue a public apology for lying about me. I'm not sitting on $32,000, so that's pretty much ridiculous. So, okay, we will shut this down, and we still have a few things that we need to get done. Some here in Maine, when winter's coming, and it was actually snowing this morning. We're supposed to get about 2 inches of snow tonight. When it's getting ready to snow, you have to make sure, first and foremost, anything on the ground around your property that you don't want to be there, you have to get it up and get it put away. And so I've been trying to tell my son, anything outside that you're playing with, we need to get it off the ground, because when the snow starts, we aren't going to be seeing the ground again for another 6 months. So, you kind of need to get stuff away. So that's what we have to do. There's old logging trails on our property, on our land, that we need to clear out some of that stuff, because we're going to be doing some logging this winter. Hopefully, Lord willing, working on our future cabin, house, whatever you want to call it. We're going to be building it, Lord willing, completely with our own milled lumber. I have a chainsaw mill. So I ran it many years ago, and then I updated the actual mill itself, but it's the same power head, the old Husky 394 HP Husqvarna Swedish chainsaw. So I'm going to be trying to use that this winter, but going to be doing some logging on our land, skidding things out in the snow. We have a snowmobile that we bought, and for that purpose, we did all of our firewood last winter. So, but a lot of different things to get done and whatever else. So we'll be in and out over time here. Probably still do some live stream type of things once in a while, and I have a big plan that I'm going to keep secret for right now. Something that I have actually started, and it's going to take a while to get it finished. So I'll keep that secret. It's not another ministry office, just to kind of put that out there. We've done whatever we could to make the ministry work better and whatever, so over the years. But thankfully, we now have this place here, which we still don't have a heat situation here figured out. So yeah, put your comment. Oh, I'm sorry. Hi, Brother Bryan. A couple of books about the translators' thoughts about the KJV are translating for King James and the coming of the King James Gospels. Both are by Ward Allen. I don't think I have those. That's interesting, but thank you very much for your comment. To answer the question earlier, thank you very much for that. So, but yeah, I think that's about it. That's about all I'm going to say for now. But we have some work to do here at this place as well. I have another shelving thing over here. There's going to be right behind me, my head back here on this wall. There's going to be a new shelving bookshelf that I'm putting up back there that I can fit more of my books in here. So I don't have everything up yet. There's still some books that I'm going to need to have a place to put. And so we're going to be working on that. I have some old pellet stoves that we had at Bridgewater, and they're going to be, I'm going to be selling those. They're in pretty rough shape, using them for all the years we did. One is okay, but, and then we're going to be trying to put in a wood stove in the one room over that way to give us better heat here. And I had our roof fixed a little while ago, sun porch roof, so that's good. That was a big prayer request. Got that done. So we're doing pretty good. I don't know what's going to happen if they lock the country down again. Right now, there isn't anything going on in Maine. But just seeing the devastation that this whole coronavirus thing has caused to the economy around here, it's incredible. I'll give a couple little things here just to kind of further to say about what's going on in this country. I know people have been saying that there's going to come a famine, a shortage of food and everything else. And there could be eventually, but what I'm seeing is there's plenty of food on the shelves and people aren't buying it. I'm seeing that, and I was at the grocery store early this morning, and that's literally what was going on there. But just seeing houses abandoned up here all the time. Literally, they have houses for sale that have not sold in years. The average time it takes to sell a house here in northern Maine, by the way, is 10 years. Back when the economy was decent. So now it's going to be even worse. I mean, there's literally, I see houses that are for sale and the front door is hanging open every day you drive by. People are just walking away from their homes. And we are an extremely poor area here in northern Maine. I think the average income is $20,000 to $25,000 for most people up here. A lot of people on welfare, very poor up here. So I think a lot of, the reason that the Lord brought us here, because I've wondered about that over the years, because we were just, we were open to, okay, if the Lord says no to buying property here, then that's fine. We'll just go someplace else. And I really feel the Lord brought us here to northern Maine. And I think about the Sheffey movie, or not the movie, the Sheffey book. And he talked about the Civil War brought in so many chances to witness to people. And, he was down in, that area where the war was actually going on, back there in the 19th century. And there were, there were so many people that were dying in the Civil War that it opened up new chances to witness. And I think that that's literally what's going to happen in the future. I do think that America is going to go into civil war, maybe not organized like it was in the first Civil War, where you actually have military, command and actual marching of troops. I don't know if it'll get to that level, at least not at first, but there's going to be a lot of killing coming up in the future and a lot of suffering, and it's going to open up a lot of chances for all of us to witness to people. So, yeah. So, just saw this, Brother Jacob. One of the trolls is live streaming your live stream. Which one? Which one is it? Which channel is it? Oh, Craig. Oh, brother. So, okay. This young guy, Craig guy, poor guy. He's got some real mental issues. Comfort the feeble-minded. Well, I tried to be nice to the guy, but poor kid. So, yeah. Okay. So that's going to be it. Just a little bit of humor this morning here, and just a good time to fellowship. I appreciate all of you out there, and even the foes of the ministry, because you make these weird videos against me, it just makes the ministry look that much better. So, but everybody out there, just be encouraged to fight. Remember, the Lord is on our side. All the Jesuits, all the papist knights, all these people that think that they have it figured out, their time is short. Their time is so short, and they're going to die and go to hell. They're trading, they're selling their soul to the devil, trading it for money and power. Foolish. It's foolish. Nothing is worth going to hell. So, all right, that's going to be it. Yeah. So we will see everybody in future videos, and please do keep us in your prayers, and we'll pray for all of you as well. So we'll see you in the next video.